Hi everyone, my name is Dame, and before we get to this tutorial, I would like to remind you guys that my name's not Dame. Don't call me that. It's actually Dame. So yes. Alright, well in today's tutorial I'll be teaching you guys how to make a progressive house track, like Martin Garrix, Hardwell, Kashmir, and Nicky Romero. I won't be teaching you guys from scratch because you all know the basics. Well, even if you don't, then you better quit. This thing's just not for you. If you don't know the basics, and I'm just kidding. All right, let's just get to the video. So the BPM should actually be at 128 BPM. Actually, 128 BPM is actually the main BPM for progressive house and big room house and house music. So let's just dive into it. So first of all, I added some guitar loops, which is a freebie, which is a free release by Styx. Those guys are awesome. They actually make great samples, like guitar samples, drums and loops and stuff like that. You guys should check them out. And so the first thing I did here was I actually used their sample pack, which is a guitar loop. This is how it actually sounds like. So I dragged that onto my playlist, and I also decreased the octave just so it matches with the main melody. I'll get to the melody later on. Let's just see how this sounds like. Let me just turn off all the effects first and show you guys the difference with and without the effects. This is how it sounds like. Yep, so that's how it sounds like without the effects. And I did some EQing on this sample. I cut off all the low frequencies and the mid frequencies, and I also increased the high frequencies just so it sounds a little bit more lively and clarity into it. So this is how it sounds like after doing the EQing. And I added some reverb by Valhalla Vintage Verb. Yes, you get the idea. It actually sounds like an emotional progressive house, but we'll see how it turned out to be. And I added some delay, and for the delay, I mainly used the stock plugin, which is called Effector FX Module. I added some delay. And here I added some piano chords, and yep, I added 4 chords. And for the piano, I am actually using Direct Wave, which is stock plugin itself called Direct Wave. Let me just turn off all the effects. So this is how the Direct Wave piano sounds like. Alright, let's just get to the piano roll and I'll show you guys how I wrote the chords. There are actually 4 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how it actually sounds like. Okay. I did the same thing here. I cut off all the low frequencies and also the mid frequencies. That's pretty much it. I like cutting off all the low frequencies, and I will tell you why. I will tell you guys why I do that all the time in most of my tracks. I did the same thing here, Vintage Verb by Valhalla, and all together it sounds something like this. And as you can see, this part right here, it's actually a guitar from the same sample pack by Styx. I did the same thing here. I cut off all I cut off all the low frequencies. Please guys, I don't want any comments roasting me about me cutting off all the low frequencies. Alright, this is how it sounds like after cutting all the low frequencies. And altogether it sounds something like this. Now you get the idea right here. You get the idea. And for the melody, I actually wrote the melody using Silent. Yeah, I stacked many layers, and I'm gonna show you how each individual preset sounds like. This is the first preset. This is how it actually sounds like, the main melody of the drop. Did I turn off everything? Yes. Here's the first layer. This is the second layer. And this is the third layer. Fourth. And last but not least, the fifth layer. And altogether it sounds something like this. I did this. You guys know it. And I added some sidechain by Nicky Romero. Nicky Romero. This is some Russian plugin. What am I doing? Alright, let's just see how it sounds like with the sidechain. Okay guys, let me tell you why I cut off most of the low frequencies. I don't know if I'm the only one or many of you guys are also doing this, but if you don't do this, I want you to do it because it's very important to cut off all the low frequencies so that the kick and the bass line won't clash with the main melody. Like the low frequency won't clash with the kick, and also the low frequency of the bass line won't clash with the main kick of the song. So I hope you understand, and even if you don't, I want you to rewind back to what I was saying. Yes, now comes the bass line. I'm using Silence, you know, it's one of my favorites. Here's the first layer. I actually stacked 3 layers. And I added some sliding effects right here. And all together it sounds something like this. And yes, and for this and for the bass line, I never cut off all the low frequencies because it is important, because that's the main thing that we need for the low frequencies. I actually cut off the high frequencies and a little bit of the low. I mean, in the mid frequencies and the high mid, I cut off just a little bit. This is how it sounds like after doing this EQing. Here it sounds more thick, and I added sidechain. Of course, it's very important to add sidechain, guys. Let me just show you guys the build-up right here. That's pretty much it for the build-up. Let's talk about the drums now. Okay, so talking about the vocals, I actually got the vocals from a friend of mine. So he sent me this, and so I'm actually using it on this track for this tutorial purpose. I added some reverse vocals here. Let's see how this sounds like. Oh, let me just turn off all the effects first and show you how I how I process the vocals. Let me show you guys my magic.
I was searching in the ocean for your eyes.
Sounds so dry, and I did so much that it sounds amazing. So this is without the effects, without processing.
I was searching in the ocean for.
This is after processing the vocals.
I was searching in the ocean for your eyes.
Oh, it's magic, you know. Alright, well, that's it. That's how I made this track for this tutorial. And let's see how the final result sounds like. Let me show you guys before and after mastering. This is actually the drop. I don't want to spoil it, but alright, let's just do it for the sake of this tutorial. This is before mastering the song. I did some tweaking. I cut off the low frequencies. Every book it's written, it's always important to cut off low frequencies. Maximum is 160 hertz or 140 hertz. So I did 50 hertz. So I cut off, and this is how it sounds like after doing all these, after tweaking all the mid frequencies, the high frequencies, and the low frequencies. Let's see how this sounds like. Whoa, I'm out of breath, man. I kept the threshold at minus 15 dB, the range at minus 18 dB. But this one won't work on every track. It depends on what kind of a song you're making, and it also depends on the mixing of your song. Okay, let's listen to the final result. I'm just gonna shut the hell up and you guys listen to it. I hope you like it.
Searching in the ocean for your eyes. Started drowning, pulled me out, and we survived. All my life, I was so blind. I see the light in you.
Well, guys, that's it. I hope you liked this tutorial and I hope you learned something. Please, guys, subscribe to my channel and I will keep making more tutorials later in the future. Also, don't forget to watch my previous tutorial about how to sound like anal wanker. I mean, Alan Walker. Yes, I hope you learned something. And also, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this crazy time. Have a great day ahead. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.